Hello and welcome back to World Traveler Cooking. Today I'm going to again have to apologize for the background noise. They are still doing construction next door. I have no idea when that will end. It has now been several months and frankly I'm not even sure what their end goal is. So bear with me and I do apologize. Today we are going to make a classic from the south of France, soupe au pistou, or as we would say in English, perhaps pesto soup. Pistou is basically similar, it basically means the same as pesto. It's a paste from grinding stuff in a mortar and pestle. And basically this goes in the soup. So, what we have to go in the soup is I have some fresh pork belly. Normally you would use salt pork for this. I'm substituting fresh pork because it's what I can get. I cannot easily get salt pork here. I will use 4 of these 5 carrots, 2 potatoes. I'll use 1 big onion, and this onion is starting to go bad, so I'll use whatever in it I can salvage. I'll probably use 1 of these packs of beans, maybe 2. Yeah, probably 1. All of these green beans, so about a half a pound of green beans. I might just throw in all of these too. These are basically a finer green bean. These are ideally what you'd use in, say, a niçoise salad. They're great, but they're just a little different. I have 1 leek, 2 zucchinis, about 350 to 400 grams of tomatoes. I'll use 150 grams of this pasta. And of course I have salt and pepper as well as olive oil, garlic, and basil. So these will all go in now. I'm going to go ahead and start. And the way I'm going to start it is I'm going to start by adding my water, which is going to be about 3 liters, to a pot where I will add my chopped pork. And then there I will also add my beans. Then I will start basically peeling and chopping all of my veggies and adding them. Potatoes last. Probably starting with the onions and ending with the potatoes. So that's what I'll be doing. So let's go ahead and get started. In goes the meat. We will give it a nice initial salting. We may have to adjust more later. And add some pepper also. Probably add some freshly ground pepper on top afterwards. And next I'll do the alliums. So even before the alliums, I think I'm just going to add the beans. These will grow a little bit. I haven't really decided if I want to add a second one or not, but I should probably make that decision soon. In go the onions. Now you may have to skim this off at some point. I'm going to wait until it's like fully boiled. But your mileage may vary. You can do what you like. Okay, now in go the leeks and carrots round 2. Now cut the potatoes a little bit bigger. You'll see why in a few minutes. And we'll go in here. I've decided not to put the zucchini in yet. The zucchini and beans will go in near the end. This way we don't have super soggy zucchini, though I'm sure some people like it that way. So you can do either way, the way you like it. And now we're going to let this cook for an hour to an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. But at some point when the potatoes are cooked, so maybe in half an hour, I'm going to take a few of them out. So after half an hour, I'm going to take maybe like half a potato's worth out of the soup. And we're just going to set this aside. This will actually go in the pistou. So I've decided to make the pistou with a hand blender today. So we're going to just start with our garlic here, add a bit of olive oil. We'll use the hand blender to do sort of an initial mix, and we will start adding both olive oil and basil leaves. So I've probably used about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and this consistency is looking pretty good. So I'm going to now add my potatoes. Now it is important that the potatoes have had a chance to cool down a bit. So even though it's only been cooking for about an hour, I just tasted the beans and they're nice, so I'm going to start adding the rest. These are both the fine beans and the green beans. Next I'll be back with the zucchini and then the pasta. Zucchini round 1. And in goes the pasta. Let's stir this. I will probably have to add a little more water. That's all right. Now we'll let this cook for another 15 minutes, and during that time I'll prepare my tomatoes and my pesto. So for the tomatoes, I have seeded and chopped them. Some people suggest peeling them too, but that seems kind of pointless, so I'm going to leave the peels off. Now that the pasta's cooked, we will take it off the heat. We're going to add our tomatoes onto the top. We will add the pistou. Now, I didn't add the salt and pepper to the pistou because I had added quite a lot to the broth, and I thought maybe I had overdone it. I just tasted it now, and I think we're going to be right in the right vicinity this way. I am going to top each bowl with some black pepper and some Parmesan cheese. But this is the pistou. Now we will give this one last stir. Interesting color to the broth there. Then we will cover it and we will let it rest for 15 minutes before we serve it. So I'll be back in 15 minutes for the presentation and the taste test. So first, I'm just going to take a moment to admire this. The interesting green color, the veggies, etc. In fact, I'm going to take a couple pictures of this before I even serve the bowl of soup. Then I'm going to serve it and present it, and we'll go that way too. So I'm just going to serve myself a nice bowl here. Make sure I get some of that wonderful broth. Scoop all the way down to make sure I get some meat and everything. What I end up with is something like this. So next, let's serve this with a dusting of black pepper. And if you like, this is optional, you can put on some grated gruyere or Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Either one is acceptable according to my French sources. So here is this. If I had some extra basil leaves, I'd just put one on as a garnish. But otherwise, since I don't have that, I'm just going to take some photos and do the taste test. And now for the taste test. It's interesting. There are a lot of layers of flavor here. You get the layers of the pesto, the cheese, the vegetables. It leads to a really, really, really pleasant soup. I would describe this as pleasant more than anything else. Comforting. I can see why this would be very much a comfort food for many people. It's a really delicious soup. I'm adding it to my repertoire of great soups to make, and I plan to make it many, many more times. Now, if you find this content interesting and you'd like to see more of it, please like, share, and subscribe. Additionally, if you have anything to say about this dish, maybe you make it differently than I do, you want to put all the vegetables at the beginning, like some recipes I've seen suggest, then please let me know in the comments. Love to hear feedback, and I think we all become better cooks when we hear about how other people make these sorts of dishes. So leave me a comment. Love to hear from you. At any rate, bon appetit, and see you next week.